we are joined by Ashu Shinghal, the Managing Director of Mahanagar Gas. Firstly, to start off with, what is the current volumes that Unison has reported, and also if you could help us with the bifurcation of this volume, how much is coming from CNG, how much is coming from industrials and commercial, and how much is coming from the PNG segment?
Very good afternoon to ET now and the viewers connected. See, the volumes is around 1 lakh standard cubic meter per day, and mostly it is going to CNG. So they have just started with the PNG connections also around 3-4,000, and some volume is going in Ratnagiri district to the commercial and industrial. But mostly it is going to the CNG segment.
Okay. And what is the kind of demand potential that you're expecting in these new areas that you've acquired?
So this is a new GA, so acquired in 6th and 9th round in 2016 and 18. So they are in the phase of infrastructure development, and demand will pick up once the infrastructure is in place and people are more conversant with the green fuel that CNG and PNG is. So we expect that going forward in 7 to 8 years time, the demand is going to be around 1 MMSCMD or slightly more than that.
Okay. Now, given that Unison is a loss-making company and the equity investment of Ashoka Buildcon and Morgan Stanley listed at close to 140 crore rupees in the company. So what is the rationale behind this valuation amount of 531 crore rupees? How was this valuation derived?
Yeah, it's a loss-making company, but the company does not start making profit from the day it starts operating. It's a very new company. December 25, the company was registered. So hardly 5-6 years, and mostly some of the time was startup was used to build up the infrastructure. 130-140 crores the equity, and almost around 140-150 crores they have put on the debt also. So around 270 crores is the capex which they have created. What we are seeing is the future growth potential in the company, and going forward, if the volume goes up to 1 MMSCMD, the top line would be close to 2,000 crore plus, and also the profits will be coming up very soon. I mean, EBITDA margins are expected to be positive this year, and next year onward, it's going to pick up as the volume grows up. So we expect that 7 to 8 years time, we have good handsome revenue as well as bottom line. I mean, if you compare with MGL, we are consuming around 3.5, 3.6 million standard cubic meter per day, which has started since last 25, 27 years. So it takes some time to build up the volume. So what we are expecting, given that strategically these locations are ideally suited for MGL as a synergy as well as to expand our volumes, plus the amount of GAs which have been authorized by PNGRB, people are developing the infrastructure. And as the confidence grows, we will see higher volumes traveling on the highways across the states. And these 3 GAs, which we are going to acquire after clearance from PNGRB and some more condition precedents, we will see the rise in the CNG volumes of basically the heavy traffic and LCVs and small commercial vehicles traveling on these paths.
Has MGL prepared, or was there any discussion of what would be the further expansion plans of these new geographical areas, and will there be any further capital infusion that Mahanagar Gas will be doing in the entity?
Yeah, it has to be, because it's a growing concern and it is being taken on a going concern basis. So we have, there's a transition period. First of all, they will be running the company on as it is basis. That means nothing unusual decisions will be taken. We will be as a observer on the board of the company. And once the PNGRB clearance is done in maybe around October 23, actually after 5 years only the share transfer can take place, which is September 23, 5 years is getting completed of 2 GAs out of the 3. Besides Ratnagiri, there are 2 more GAs. One is Latur and Usmanabad, other is Chitradurg and Devangiri. So those 5 years are getting completed in September 23. Post that, the formalities and necessary clearances are required, and after that the shares will be transferred to us. So till that time, Unison will be carrying out their business as usual capex plan. They have already discussed with us as a part of SPA, the share purchase agreement, that what are the areas they will be focusing on the capex and what are the capex they are trying to infuse into the company. So that is well in conversation and in agreement with MGL. Going forward, post acquisition, there will be again some transitioning hand-holding about the existing contracts which will be running so that the transition is smooth. And we have to invest our capex based on the growth potential, which we say based on whatever our other economics as are required for the company to take it to the next level.
Now, even post this acquisition, if we see the company is expected, that is MGL is expected to have a cash of around 1,000 odd crore rupees in its book. So, any other asset that the company is exploring or is in talks with to buy?
See, this is a big acquisition for MGL. I mean, this is one of the first of its kind in our company's history. So we are scouting. I mean, people are aware that there are not many opportunities, but we are scouting. Also, we are running our strategy exercise to look into other diversification areas. So we will see if, as and when things are conducive and everything commercially, technologically, economically, it is in place, we will announce it to the public.
On this acquisition, one more thing that I would want to know is that the Ratnagiri area specifically was acquired by Ashoka and Morgan Stanley in 2016. Now, back then there were still talks to develop the West Coast refinery, but so post that, currently if you see there are no hints of revival of that plan. So, from where do you see the incremental volumes to come in Ratnagiri region? Will it be CNG, because industrial volumes are expected to be tepid given the fact that the West Coast refinery is not expected to come in soon?
While doing the valuation, we have taken all these factors into account. Yes, you are right that West Coast refinery is slightly delayed or maybe quite delayed from the original plans. But that is not the only thing where in the CGD will see its growth. One of the main areas where we see the growth is the highway, and the way Goa-Mumbai highway is getting developed, and the way Mumbai-Bangalore highway is getting connected and getting broadened. So we expect that the volumes are expected to go up. Plus, we have advantage of one LNG terminal at Ratnagiri, which is already functional, and one more LNG terminal, which is going to be functional very soon of MGL. So there is a synergy in long-term haulage also of LNG, so which is a growing area, and we expect in future that some amount of volume will be delivered in those long-term haulage. What we also expect is that there will be more GAs who are developing CNG stations all across India. So we have connectivity from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. We have connectivity from Mumbai to Goa to Bangalore. We will have connectivity from Mumbai to Nagpur. So you see the interstate things will come into play, and that will be a big boost for the CNG industry. Because if you see, there are three things. One is the CNG, second is domestic PNG connections, and then industrial and commercial. So main volume as well as growth and the profits comes from the CNG segment. So that is the area we are focusing in. Besides the industrial segment, which is industrial and commercial, also will boost up. Some of the Maharashtra industrial development areas are in near vicinity. So we like to connect to them and give them a good offer to increase the sale.
Couple of questions on your normal business right now. So the CNG vehicle addition that we have been seeing in specifically the areas that Mahanagar Gas operates, it has been quite slower if you say on the year-to-date basis compared to last year. Now this is as per the Vahan registration data. So is it owing to the high gas prices? And also if you could give us an idea of how the car conversions have been so far in the fourth quarter of FY23.
See, there are multiple factors when we talk about conversions. One of them is that there was an impact of, gas prices have gone up substantially high in last 1.5 years or so, from $2 per MMBTU to around $70-80 per MMBTU in 1.5 years. The prices of LNG has taken shape. So in that respect, we find that if the narrower the difference between CNG and diesel and petrol vehicles, the conversion will see a downside. However, going by the numbers, around 15,000 every quarter conversions we are seeing. And last COVID has seen an impact because obviously COVID, the numbers were down, but post-COVID, the last year and this year, we have almost come to the same level. The challenge obviously is that the difference between petrol or diesel and CNG should be substantial enough for customers to change over or switch over to LNG conversions. Now, the good part is, one, that government has announced HPHT gas to be allocated on priority to CGD sector from 1st of February. and that has impacted. That we have reflected in our prices also. We have reduced our prices by 2.5 rupees a few weeks back. And in the Kirit Parikh committee recommendation, as you are aware, is already going around the approval process. And once that is done, we expect some more relief for the CNG segment. And you see the prices of LNG also, they have also come down. So all these steps are auguring well for the segment so that more people will be converting or intend to convert to CNG or buy new vehicles of CNG.
Lastly, sir, as you were mentioning that the international gas prices have come down and Kirit Parikh committee recommendations also hint that the domestic gas prices could further fall if the recommendations are accepted. So where do you see your EBITDA unit margins for the financial year FY24? And also, how much of this lower gas price benefit will you be passing on to consumers?
Yeah, we can't just, numbers cannot be explicitly declared, but we have our financial results of 9 months, December 2022. Those are very good numbers, and we expect the growth to continue. And in the same manner, we expect the numbers to be, you can see 9 months result. That is an indication that the trend which we is going through. And as and when the Kirit Parikh recommendations are accepted, and in the form and manner in which it is accepted, and also the cost of procurement and cost of gas and other matters, cost of alternate fuel, we will take a call at that point of time that how much benefit will be required to be passed on. But we are very, optimistic about some good reduction.
Well, that would be all, sir. Thank you for giving us time and giving us all those details about this new acquisition that Mahanagar Gas has announced.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Well, that was the